All right, Earl Thomas comes from the Ravens. The Ravens have to get their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, ready for the season. A little bit of a concern, though, over a potential injury situation with the 2019 NFL MVP. Here's Coach John Harbaugh from yesterday.
Yeah, we got a couple guys. I think Marcus Peters is another one, and Justice Hill is another one who have some soft tissue things, and just rather be safe with those guys right now and give those things a chance to get better and be right.
And Lamar Jackson is one of those guys that has the soft tissue thing, as John Harbaugh mentioned it. Now, look, soft tissue is a very broad range of ligaments and tendons and muscles and connections and things that can aggravate for a long time if they don't get proper rest and properly heal, Chris. So we're talking about a very broad category of potential ailments. And anytime you're talking about anything that's not entirely right on Lamar Jackson, you have to be concerned if you're a Ravens fan.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, come on. We know this is one of the best players in the league, and really, again, a special offense is formulated around him and his special talents. You know, that was the beauty of Baltimore. It was an offense that we really have never seen before or anything like it, you know, with a quarterback we'd never seen before, let alone they got good talent on defense and other positions too to make it all work. So he is, of course, hugely important to the success of that football team and the style of football in which they want to play. And, of course, being that big playmaker. But this is, again, you know, my fingers are crossed because this is what I'm worried about. It's just, you know, over the last 4 or 5 days, I mean, we're just seeing players just fall by the wayside every day at practice. And these soft tissue injuries, you know, this is what I worry about because of just the lack of intense offseason training, Mike. You know, these guys got back in, they ran wind sprints and did all some of that stuff, and then it was right to football. That's just not how a regular offseason goes. Regular offseason goes, yeah, wind sprints. Oh, okay, you're in shape. Now let's start doing some training that's a little more, you know, football specific. Hey, we're going to make you push this sled 40 yards. Go through these bags, push this sled, pull this sled, run with this parachute connected to your back, and you get your body in all these weird positions that are conducive to what football is, and that didn't happen this year, and that's why I'm a little scared about the injury component, but Harbaugh's smart. He knows how to manage a team, and I think he'll play this very safe, knowing how important Jackson is.
And think about the psychological aspect of it. You've got the full offseason where we were on lockdown, and yeah, there were some guys getting workouts in, but it wasn't anything like what they ordinarily would do. They show up for training camp, and they're ready to go. They want to get going. You know, the elite professional athlete does not like to be restrained. He thinks he can do everything until he can't, and that's where you have to strike that balance. And with only 80 guys in camp, we've talked about the challenges with the 10 fewer players who aren't available for all the reps, puts a little more stress on everyone, and the coaches are worrying about a bunch of other issues they've never had to worry about before as it relates to COVID-19. So, you know, it's we talk about it day in and day out, but they're living it day in and day out. And I think for some of these coaches, it's a lot to process. And how do you strike the right balance? How do you have the right plan? How do you properly worry about everything? How do you get your guy ready and not expose him unnecessarily to injury? Chris, Shereen Williams and I were talking about this on Friday. Some of these issues remind me of that awkward scene from Hard Knocks 2 years ago when Todd Haley, who was the offensive coordinator of the Browns at the time, was debating with then head coach Hugh Jackson, do you give veterans maintenance days to keep them healthy, or do you just go and get them ready, and if they get injured, you deal with it? And I think that dynamic is playing out unlike any other time before this year, with this urgency to get guys ready without the benefit of preseason games in a compressed time frame, with guys who want to get out there and do what they can.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is the juggling act of juggling acts this year for head coaches and managing their teams and players that way. Yeah, you can't just, you know, work them into the ground and just, you know, hey, guys, we're going to go after it 110% every day. Not in a year like this, no. There's no way. Guys aren't ready for that type of pounding and punishment, and let alone, yeah, we got regular season football to worry about here in a few weeks. So that's an issue. So, yeah, I think, you know, coaches have to be, and just from what I know, you know, coaches are, of course, managing the veteran players to what you're talking about and being smarter in which ways they approach practice. Yeah, they're going to get in some full contact, full hitting practices, things like that. but also find other creative ways to get better practicing without maybe having to exert yourself to where you're going to endanger yourself. I think those are the things at least I hear from some friends that, coaches are dabbling in to make up for that lack of time and not wearing their players out.
It's going to be interesting to see what the football looks like, because one thing we've noticed in recent years is there's been a de-emphasis on contact in practices and contact involving tackling to the ground. The deficiencies we've seen when it's time to go out and tackle to the ground in a real football game. Will guys be ready if coaches are erring on the side of keeping them physically ready to go?
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.